was nothing special about Alara Tai. At 17, her world was a blend of chemistry tests, hallways that smelled like disinfectant and teenage sweat, and the desperate need to feel seen in a school where everyone wore a mask. Her routine was painfully average. Wake up at 6:30 a.m., half toast for breakfast, bus ride with earbuds in, high school purgatory from 8 to 3, then home to help her dad run inventory at the hardware store before starting homework she barely understood. Her mother had left when she was 10, something about needing to find herself, so it was just Alara and her dad scraping by in their weather-worn house on Hollowbrook Lane. She didn't stand out, and that was by design. Life was easier that way. The shadows in the halls didn't reach for you, the popular kids didn't throw their venom your way, and you could survive high school without being devoured. At least, that was the idea. But predators noticed the quiet ones too. It was Friday afternoon, and the weight of the week hung on Alara like soaked clothes. As she walked down the corridor towards her locker, she felt it. That feeling. Eyes on her. Smirking ones. When she reached her locker, the moment of unease confirmed itself. Her books were missing. In their place, a cracked makeup mirror leaned against the back wall, smeared with red lipstick scrawling the words, "Pretty ugly." Laughter from behind. Kyra Sloane and her entourage, perfect teeth bared like wolves. "Oops, must have dropped your soul in there," Kyra giggled, tossing Alara's bio book into a trash can. "You might actually be hot in another dimension." Alara's fists clenched so tight her nails dug into her palms. She didn't say anything. Couldn't. If she opened her mouth, the tears might follow. Instead, she grabbed her bag and bolted, the laughter trailing her like phantom claws down the hallway. She stumbled into the girls' bathroom on the second floor, the one no one used because the lights flickered and the stalls creaked when no one was inside. Perfect. Empty. Quiet. The tap squeaked and cold water rushed over her trembling hands as she splashed her face. She didn't look up at first. She never did. Mirrors had a way of showing too much, but something felt wrong. The air had thickened, a pressure against her skin. Alara glanced up. Her reflection stared back, but it wasn't right. The expression was off. While Alara blinked, the reflection did not. Its mouth was a hard line. Its eyes too still, too knowing, like it was watching her. She turned quickly, hand reaching for her bag on the counter behind her. She blinked, just a blink. When her gaze returned to the mirror, her reflection's arm was no longer at its side. It was reaching out, hands stretching halfway through the glass, fingers pale and twitching. A scream tore from Alara's throat. She bolted from the bathroom, shoes squeaking on the floor, heart thundering. She didn't stop until she reached the stairwell door, gasping for breath. She dared a look back. There, at the end of the hallway, it stood, her reflection, unmoving. But its head was tilted slightly, its eyes following her. It couldn't move while she looked at it. She didn't go home that night. She went straight to the police station, desperation making her voice shrill as she explained to Officer Callahan and his young, skeptical partner that there was a thing, a reflection, that was trying to get her, trying to be her. They exchanged looks, polite, professional, but not believing. "Maybe you need to talk to someone," Callahan said, "a school counselor. Sometimes trauma can play tricks." Alara laughed bitterly, standing up from the cracked plastic seat. "Right, thanks for nothing." As she left, she passed a woman in the waiting area. Gaunt, pale, her hands trembled in her lap, but her eyes locked with Alara's, wide, knowing. She followed Alara outside. "I saw you," the woman whispered. "In the mirror. You saw it too, didn't you?" Alara froze. "You know what this is?" The woman nodded slowly. "It's called the mirrored curse. It finds the isolated, the unnoticed. It makes them seen, but only to itself." The woman's name was Maureen. She led Alara to a small, dark apartment filled with covered mirrors. Maureen hadn't seen her own face in 10 years. "It started with my sister," she said, lighting a single candle. "She was cursed first, then me, when I looked in the same mirror she had. It spreads through awareness. You have to look. That's how it starts." Alara listened as Maureen explained the rules. It cannot move when you're watching. It climbs out slowly, piece by piece, every time your eyes turn away. Once it touches you, it no longer plays by the rules. It hunts you, and when it catches you, it drags you in, replacing you perfectly in the real world. The replacement is you. It eats attention, affection, love, growing stronger with every moment others believe it's you. But if someone knows the real you is trapped, the demon can't feed off them. They become immune. I tried to catch it once, Maureen whispered. Set a trap. Covered the bathroom in security cameras. But the footage, it glitches. It never shows up on tape. Alara's mind spiraled, but one idea caught flame. Then I'll catch it myself. I'll set my own trap. Mirrors, bright lights. Now that I know the rules, I can beat it. Maureen only shook her head. No one beats it. They just delay it. But Alara was done hiding. She set up her bedroom like a stage, mirrors on every wall, her webcam live streaming to a private server, her eyes locked onto the mirror in front of her. She sat and waited. Hours passed, her eyes burned. She blinked with one closed at a time. Then it moved. Her reflection tilted its head. Alara grinned. Gotcha! But her triumph was short-lived. She reached for her phone to alert Maureen, and in that moment, in that one blink, the reflection surged forward. Fast. Hand extended. It touched her. Alara screamed, stumbling back. It moved now, freely. She ran, out of the house, onto the street, into the night. But the thing followed, always out of direct view, always just beyond focus. The next morning, her father got a call from the school. Alara was absent. But she wasn't. She was at the breakfast table, smiling too wide, eyes too still. And at the same moment in the mirror behind the hallway door, the real Alara screamed silently, pounding her fists against the glass. And no one heard her. Not yet. At first, everything seemed normal. The thing wearing Alara's skin slipped into her life seamlessly. It cooked eggs the way her father liked, walked to school in her sneakers, laughed with classmates she never spoke to before. No one noticed the stiffness in her voice, the way she stared a beat too long, or how her smile never quite reached her eyes. But inside the hallway mirror, Alara screamed. She didn't know how long she had been trapped. Time moved differently behind the glass. There was no hunger, no sleep, no warmth, just a cold, endless awareness. She could see through the mirrors in the house, but only for moments, flickering glimpses like peering through a keyhole. She saw her father laugh at something the faker said, saw classmates waving to her in the halls, saw her own reflection living a life that was never meant to be borrowed. Every time someone looked at the imposter, it grew stronger, more real. The more people believed it was her, the more anchored it became. Soon it would be permanent, and she would rot in the dark. But there was a flaw. One person noticed. Milo Jennings, the only kid in her chemistry class who ever talked to her without cruelty or pity. He had a nervous tic, fidgeted with his sleeves, bit his thumb when stressed. He'd seen the new Alara walking into class, chatting casually with Kyra Sloan like they were old friends. That alone was strange enough, but it was the eyes that unsettled him. Too steady, too wrong. The real Alara never looked at people like that. He couldn't shake it. Later that day, he passed a hallway mirror. Something flickered. He stepped back, and there she was. Alara. Not the one sitting in class. This one looked terrified, mouthing something silently. He leaned in closer. Her hand moved slowly, writing a word in fog against the mirror's surface. Help! Milo staggered back. At first, he thought he was hallucinating. Maybe stress, maybe sleep deprivation, but the image remained. Alara behind the glass, eyes pleading. He didn't tell anyone. Instead, he returned to the mirror after school. Same time, same place. This time, she wrote more. It's not me, mirrored. Trap failed, still here. He couldn't believe what he was reading, but his gut told him it was real. The imposter hadn't looked his way in class, and now he understood why. If he didn't believe in it, if he knew, he became useless to it. She explained everything over several visits, one word at a time. Each message written painfully slow in condensation, fading too fast. It was all she could do from inside. Milo started researching. Not online, the curse had no digital trail, but in libraries, in occult forums, in strange corners of books that smelled like mildew and secrets, and he found it. A mention in an old, handwritten tome buried in the restricted section of the city library. The mirrored curse, once seen, it is tethered, once touched, it is freed, once believed, it thrives. It may be banished only if its deception is shattered, if the truth is seen by those it feeds upon. Milo came up with a plan. At school, he started filming the imposter. Casual shots, videos in the hallway. Then, secretly, he filmed the mirror in the school's locker room. He captured Alara's real face mouthing the same messages she'd written before. Then he showed the footage to her father. At first, the man refused to believe it. His daughter was right there. making dinner, laughing, living. But when he watched the mirror footage, when he saw her mouthing, "Dad, please, it's me," something in his soul twisted. That night, he confronted the fake Alara. "Where were you born?" he asked. She blinked, tilted her head. "You don't remember, do you?" he said softly. The imposter's smile faltered. In that moment, she knew. She lunged. The lights in the kitchen shattered. Glass flew. The mirrors in the house vibrated violently as if something inside was screaming. Milo held the mirror from school steady while Alara's father kept his eyes on the creature, yelling for her to go back. But it didn't, because now the rules had changed. It could only be banished by being exposed, seen by enough people to break the illusion. They needed more eyes. Milo uploaded the footage online, unlisted, just to a handful of trusted people. They watched, they believed. And with each viewer, the thing began to flicker. It screamed. The sound was like metal scraping against bone. The thing twisted and thrashed, its form warping, features melting as if they'd never been real. And with a final shriek, it collapsed into shards of black glass. The mirror in the hallway shattered, and Alara stepped out, breathless, shaking, but free, for now. Because in the silence that followed, deep in the shards of broken glass scattered across the floor, something moved. A reflection, one that didn't belong to anyone in the room.